Hello and welcome back to the only show with hotter takes than the on-location shoot for the Mustafar scenes. I'm Max,
I'm Matt.
I'm Luke.
and this is Force for Thought. It really benefited a lot that we recorded both these episodes back to back so that you guys could get both halves of that intro joke.
That
How
was
am I
great.
so stupid to not have that joke come to me?
That's so good too. I was gonna, because last week's or the episode we just recorded, realistically, you were talking about
Maybe
Hoth
2
and
weeks ago.
the cold takes, maybe 2 weeks ago. But that it's so funny because I'm like, that joke is like more funny because we do have cold takes. It's a real thinker, you know. And then you flip it on its head and do the Mustafar. Max, I think your jokes are as maybe probably the smartest person on this podcast, and I'd say maybe the funniest too. You're a close second.
Well, as we established in the last episode that we recorded, I am the best. I don't know about the
that's true,
smartest, but
Yeah.
I am better than, or no, what do we say? I was
You're better than
Wilson.
everyone, including
Yes.
the two of us.
Yes. And that's why he's not the smartest, though. Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Force for Thought. We could talk about Max's jokes all day, but this is perfect because it's been a long time, I feel like, since we've kind of slowed things down. It's all been business, guys, lately with this podcast. Business, business, business. And I want to just take a step back, crack open some double DPs, which is, I'm talking about Blackberry Dr. Peppers, of course, which I already drank.
Okay.
But
Nice.
yeah.
It's a
Double
weird
BDPs.
abbreviation.
What do
to
you call
throw
them?
out.
Yeah, I've been saying it all day, and Lynn has not liked it.
No, it definitely
I
sounds
will-
sexual.
Double BDPs.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those, as Luke's getting a Dr. Pepper right now, I guarantee it. But I feel like we haven't done our segment called Shoot the Ship. Oh, there it is.
SCZS over here. Strawberries and cream, zero sugar.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, of
Get the
course.
shirts made.
But they're
Um,
yummy.
Dr. Pepper did reach
Uh,
out for a sponsorship, but I said we cannot be bought.
They cannot be bought.
Of all the sponsors we could possibly get, that would be my absolute favorite.
I'm trying to think of what would be a good one out too.
If they could subsidize my monthly Dr. Pepper budget, wealth would come so naturally.
Which is substantial.
Well-
You buy them in bulk when they're on sale. In bulk by
They
like
are expensive too.
Gotta shop the deals, Matthew.
What kind of soda do you think in Star Wars in world do you think that there's soda? And also, do you think Jedi are prohibited from having poison water, basically?
No, I don't think Jedi are prohibited from having poison water. No,
Isn't poison
What do you-
poison water seem like it's in world actually?
Yeah, I'm about to say, is that a Star Wars thing? What are you talking about? Poison water? You're just talking about
No, it's just
alcohol?
kinda
what-
Do you think Jedi are allowed
It's
to
just
drink?
kinda Oh, I was just talking
Yeah.
about soda.
Well, mine's zero sugar because health is a lifestyle, so I can't relate exactly.
That's true.
but-
That's...
Yeah, I
wonder-
bet.
I
I
don't know.
bet Jedi can drink alcohol.
I don't
I'm
know. They
trying to
could.
think if they ever do, though.
What does Obi-Wan drink? No death sticks. He doesn't drink anything there.
He orders a drink there, though.
No.
And there's no way he's ordering a virgin. That would, yeah. He drinks. He's good. He's sipping on an alcohol.
Hmm.
Interesting. Does he even pay for that drink?
I don't
know.
think
I've
on
thought
screen,
about
but I
that
think
before.
It's
Like,
implied enough that he's not a criminal.
It's
But he's on the
it's
job, though. Like,
equivalent-
is he getting?
Yeah.
Does he have like a company card that he's putting it on? Does the Jedi Council say like, hey, if you guys are ever on a mission and you need to have a
Yeah,
drink,
petty
this is
cash.
on us.
Can I get a receipt for that though? I will expense this.
No, I bet they have a petty cash
Any
stipend.
alcohol drink that's below $15.
I saw it's not an original joke, so I got to give credit to the internet. I forget who came up with it, but they're talking about Qui-Gon's expense report when he came back from his mission on Naboo. And they were like, "Oh, Qui-Gon, I see you had to spend extra money on dry cleaning for your cloak because you went swimming in a swamp. And it says here that you also bought a slave kid. Is that right?" He's like, "No, I won him in a race. Don't worry, that one was profitable." Like, oh, okay.
And he's a chosen one. We're all good. We're all good there. Clears it. It's okay. I'm just also I feel like Obi-Wan doesn't drink that much because if he drank a little bit more, he definitely would want a death stick. I feel like those go hand in hand. You know.
Quinlan,
I think the drink that Obi-Wan ordered in the Outrider Club was more akin to a beer, and a death stick is more akin to heroin. And I've
That's
had a
my
beer,
understanding.
Interesting.
but
Oh,
I have not had heroin. I don't think those are hand in hand. I think
Never
one
tr-
is significantly more intense than the other.
What's the,
Never tried the Big H.
the big H? What do you think is the difference between a death stick and spice? Do you think a death
I
stick
think
has
spice is more like cocaine, and death.
Interesting.
I think
I feel like
spice
it
is
would be
more
the
like
other way
cocaine, and
around
death
because
stick.
it's in a club
Sorry,
setting.
did I say that the other way around?
I feel like
No.
a death stick would be more like cocaine.
I always
That's
just
my
assumed death
opinion.
sticks were more like just like cigarettes, just because I feel like that in 2002. I know that. In
You're welcome, I
2002,
told
where in 2002, I feel like the big anti-smoking campaigns were going around as well. Like they were still smoking in Ohio in restaurants in 2002. That ended in what, 2005, I think. So I always just
So, yeah.
assumed it was with the time cigarettes.
Yeah, I'm
So
putting
people also call them death sticks.
my view on this is warped from the Star Wars Legacy comic series, where Cade does
Cade.
death sticks a lot, and they are
Mm.
definitely hallucinogens, and he uses them as a numbing agent to stop being visited by old Jedi, and he looks like a heroin addict when he's on it.
He listens
more
to a
than
lot of
a
Pain by
smoker.
Papa Roach when he does it.
That's really interesting though, because I feel like so that guy at the bar, instead of like
Yvonne
trying to
Sleaze Bogano.
oh my god, that's really his name.
It is his
Yvonne
name. I
Sleaze?
think I said Papa Roach. That's Jimmy Eat World, though.
No, I feel like Jimmy World now. Sweetness in the middle. I think you're right.
No, it's
Papa
Pain.
Roach. Those are vastly different bands too.
I'm thinking of Jimmy Eat World.
Oh, interesting.
Pain by Jimmy Eat World.
Oh, I'm thinking Scars by Papa Roach. Never mind.
That's a good one, too.
It is. Good old Jacoby. But the
Check our Instagram. Maybe
Instead
we'll
of-
post a Spotify playlist of a Death Stick soundtrack.
Death Stick soundtrack's a good album name. The
Hopefully it's a good playlist
but
name for
so-
Spotify.
It's even better. So instead of him trying to enhance the experience of like someone who's drinking, that you can like sell them like just like single cigarettes or something, he is actively, presumably, trying to take business away from the bar that he is at. Then, because instead of a drink, have like this LSD or something, right? Versus like if you're selling cigarettes to somebody at a bar, you're like, oh, this person's gonna get drunk. Selling cigarettes is easy. But this person is trying to offer them a whole other experience, which is actually an insane way to look at that, I feel like. This is blowing my mind with this.
I don't go out much, but isn't that a typical thing for clubs in the real world, that they sell drugs under the table in clubs also?
Luke, this
Based
is
on
how
what I know from television, I think we all have a
Yes.
similar life.
Yeah, Luke, I cannot tell you how little that world I would even know. Your life, I feel like, is the most confusing to me. Maybe I feel like you would maybe run with some crowds that are more like that, Luke, because I feel like you feel like you were crazy. Every time last time we talked, I think it was on this podcast, I said, Luke, you don't drink that much, right? Like you're like, no, but when I do, I drink for results. And I was like, yeah,
weddings and stuff, and
You're a crazy
whenever
man.
I start drinking.
You don't drink
You're
for
a crazy
taste.
man.
That's an alcoholic.
No, if you're drinking for taste, you'll drink a Dr. Pepper, or you'll lie to yourself. There's nothing that tastes as good as Dr. Pepper. If
They
you're
should
drinking
really
alcohol, it's
sponsor
because
us.
you want to be drunk.
Interesting.
Dr. Pepper, sorry to go back to this, and this is terrible timing because we just wrapped recording an episode all about Galaxy's Edge. Dr. Pepper and all of their various offshoots of flavors. You're drinking the strawberries and cream, zero sugar. That would be a
Check
great
it off that list.
that would be a great soda for them to offer at Galaxy's Edge and just call it Bantha juice or whatever. I think that's actually already something else. Whatever. Because no one would be able to identify that. Like no one knows what a
That's
Dr.
true.
Pepper is. It's crazy, like the 23 flavors, right? And it's like at a certain point, process of elimination, we're going to figure out what the 23 flavors are, because every time they come out with a new flavor, it's like, oh, Dr. Pepper cherry. And then you taste it and you're like, yep, this is different. Cherry must not be one of the original 23. Now we know cherries or what is berries and cream or whatever, blackberry.
That's
Sorry,
not that's not true though, because they might just be doubling up on the cherry dosage.
I was just gonna say that because that blew my mind when
Oh.
we talked about that.
Just
Because it's like
increasing the
Max, like
ratio.
And it would really
Like
give
it-
it away if you called it Dr. Pepper more cherry.
Dr. Pepper.
that was the
extra
original
cherry.
pitch. Damn
It's
it.
Dr. Pepper. It's just
Um,
more.
That's what I feel like in a like in a mix when you're mixing like some audio or something. It's like, okay, I'm gonna put this lower in the mix. But if you want to put that sound effect way up there, it can pop.
Boy, they can keep us confused forever. But it would never be
They really could.
identifiable. That's the thing about Dr. Pepper. Like if you give me a cherry Coke, cherry Coke's a bad example. I feel like if you give me a weird flavored Coke that I've never even had before, I'd be like, oh, this is like a weird Coke. But Dr. Pepper, like the cherries, or I keep saying cherries and cream. What are you drinking? Strawberries and cream?
Strawberries and cream.
It doesn't taste like anything identifiable. That would be a great that would be a great Batu drink. Just like, oh, here's just a Star Wars soda. And it's just like, yeah, no, this doesn't exist in the real world. It's just Dr. Pepper.
Something that would make sense in Batu, but also would be like a terrible addition is that Stardust. It's not Stardust. Isn't that drug too? Is that like Star whatever flavor of Coke they had last summer only? It was like space themed, but it tasted horrible. And I was like, I don't want that. Like
Are you
that did not
thinking
taste like
about
Coke.
Pepsi
That was
White?
just a weird. No, Pepsi White, Pepsi Clear. I
Crystal?
do like
Pepsi
like
Clear, that's what I
Crystal
was thinking
Pepsi. Yeah, I do like Crystal Pepsi quite a bit actually. I also have a new Coke can downstairs, which they did in partnership with Stranger Things season 3. One of my prized possessions. I also actually have an unopened version in my closet, which is probably very bad if I were to open it and drink it. But also, new Coke is actually pretty bad in general, since that's why they got rid of it. But
That came out around Stranger Things season 3. I thought that was in like the 80s.
it was that came out because it came out. Stranger Things season 3 is 1986, I believe, or 1984, and so or 85, and they that's when the new Coke came out. So it was only around for a handful of years, and so in the show in season 3 they drink new Coke because it is new and fun, and then they re-released it for a limited time.
That's
Good
hilarious,
good
even
for
though no one
Coke.
likes it.
Yes, it's great.
Man, marketing can take you places.
Yeah, it really can. Going off of Obi-Wan also and the Death Sticks, I think this is what this episode is going to be called.
Obi-Wan and the Death Sticks.
One of my also great band
All
name.
right, we'll have to commit now, but we have to bring everything back to Obi-Wan and the Death Sticks for the rest of the episode.
Good, talk about some jizz music right there. Obi-Wan in Attack of the Clones, I think it's Attack, says to Anakin to not trust politicians. But doesn't he take orders from politicians all the time? And isn't the Jedi Council influenced by politicians all the time?
What conversation are you
Not
referring
in theory.
I think, oh man, I wrote this down like such a long time ago, but it has to be from Attack because I was watching it. So I do not remember, but I believe it's when they are in Padme's loft before, I don't know. I think they're protecting Padme is what I'm going to say.
The very
in
beginning of
the beginning of
episode
Attack.
2. I would
Yeah,
picture
I think.
I can hear Obi-Wan saying he's a politician and he's not to be trusted, but I can't place the exact scene either.
that sounds more familiar, but yeah, I would need to rewatch it to know more of the context because that is interesting that Obi-Wan is the one who's kind of sowing those seeds of distrust in the system that they have in place.
Right?
But it's not inconsistent though because the
Oh,
Jedi are supposed to
that's-
be independent. I mean, the problem with the whole fall of the Jedi Order is that they got in bed with the government basically and became their military force, part of their military force when they shouldn't have.
Yeah, but isn't real quick? It is when they're watching over Padme, and she goes in for bed for the night, I believe, and he says, "And don't forget, she's a politician. They're not to be trusted."
Oh,
Which
he
is,
says it
again-
about Padme. That's right.
Yes, but it's still odd. Like Max said, like he is sowing those seeds, and I feel like that is weird for a couple of different reasons. Like you said, the genuine mistrust. Obviously, I think he can also maybe in that specific moment, because he's talking about Padme, could be skewing him away from her a little bit. But it still feels weird that like I feel like that is almost like biased or like Obi-Wan's personal opinion. And also, again, I was confused because I'm like, they quite often in the history of Star Wars, from what we've seen from the Clone Wars, from Phantom Menace, from Attack, from Revenge, work with politicians pretty closely all the time. And it's just funny to be like, don't trust them, but we will work with them all the time. Like, they obviously protect them, but yeah, go on.
I disagree. Because like what Max said, that's the tragedy of the Jedi during the prequel era, that they do start working with the politicians once they join the war because they were forced into it from all these different factors. But before the Clone Wars, if we just look at the time that we've had before then, which is not a lot. And so this is one of the very few, if only, scenes where we get a glimpse into the Jedi's relationship with politicians. We know Obi-Wan says that they're not to be trusted, so they don't work with them. Officially, it's not really clear one way or the other. But given what at least I know of all the lore, they work with politicians sometimes to like achieve common goals, but they don't ever work for them. The High Republic goes into that in pretty good detail because the Republic's fighting a war and the Jedi are involved with the war, but they're not doing it on the Republic's behalf. It's because the Jedi are singled out in this war in addition to the Republic. And so, yeah, I think that pre-Clone Wars, the stance on the Jedi is politicians bad. They are not us. We don't work with them. We don't trust them.
But I don't know if that would be like an order-wide sentiment, because I do think that it is inconsistent for Obi-Wan's character. I still feel like he, of anyone, would probably be the most optimistic in the order of things and how things are supposed to work. Like he might say, like, oh, we're Jedi, we're independent from politicians, but it does seem inconsistent that he would say, oh, politicians are bad and they're not to be trusted, because that sounds like something that Qui-Gon would say. Qui-Gon was always the kind of rabble-rouser and the more rebellious one, and in some of the
rebellious against the Jedi, but not the institution of the politics of the Senate.
Well, it's hard to say because he was a Jedi, and if you're a Jedi, you can't really be anything else. But I mean, I think he would have been anti-institution and other factors as well. I think we just see him being more rebellious within the Jedi Order just because that was what he was in. I mean, I think I would have not been surprised if Qui-Gon had a deep distrust of politicians as well. It seems more inconsistent from Obi-Wan's perspective, who I think at that time is more optimistic and trusting in the system.
The system, yeah. It is also interesting because I feel like it makes sense. Maybe that line is actually really smart and not inconsistent. It is inconsistent with Obi-Wan, but maybe it's not inconsistent in the fact that he is now the master and he is instilling some of those values that Qui-Gon instilled in him.
There's also a chance that he is still just salty about the Phantom Menace when she pretended to be the decoy and he got bamboozled. And he's like, don't trust her.
That's true.
He low-key wanted Padme to die, and he's just like, that sneaky little girl.
And now someone else died for her and didn't even make any sense because she gave herself up right away. This is all so dumb.
I would love to revisit that conversation.
I would too. But not now,
because you
because
guys have come around to reason, or because you would like to for me to say the same thing.
No, I still
explain the same obvious truths, and you to try to deny.
I still feel very confident that Dorme died for no reason, but we don't have to get into it.
As Maxwell.
Was it Dorme?
That's true, because we have a
Corday.
Force for Thought trivia. If you want to play, if you want to move on from
Obi-Wan, like about our podcast.
No, that's just what I titled the document.
Okay, thank God. I thought
in episode 1,
going on a bender of listening back to our old episodes, and we're gonna
episode 39,
on
Max
things that we have all said.
Yes, in episode 1, what sign-off did Matt start saying to your dad? In episode 2, what racial slur did Max say that we had to cut out?
There's no way you started the Sammy in episode 1, did you?
No, I don't think so.
It wouldn't make sense because
we didn't.
Our dad was a listener, and that's how it started. So he would have had to have listened to it.
Ooh, that's if someone could create a Wikipedia page.
It had to have been at least episode 2 then.
Yeah. I'll go back and listen.
I feel like it had to be later because that was the running joke was we had multiple episodes, but our dad was the only one who's listened to them.
And didn't we record a bunch of episodes before we started releasing? I think we started recording
we did.
in like
because
April.
we released starting on May 4th.
Amount. Yeah.
We were really prepared before all the other kids happened.
Oh, how things change.
Those were the days. Nah, these are the days. These are so much better. No, the days where Max and I lived together. Oh, those were the days. Those are the 3 years. And the 1 year we were neighbors. Anyway.
You guys were neighbors?
Yeah, that's how we met. First year,
Freshman
first
year.
day of
in
college.
Yeah.
Yeah, in college. Yeah, not. What do you think? You lived with Max. Do you think we grew up next to each other and just never saw me? It's like Boo
No, I thought
Radley.
maybe when you were in Columbus, you guys lived next to each other.
Oh
at
no,
some point.
Ugh, that'd be great too. Yeah, I never came over when you were over, Luke. Come on. Anyway, I'm gonna keep track of this, and whoever wins, I'll bring a double BDP next time I see you.
Ooh,
Okay.
BPDP, get in my belly.
All right, Max and LT. You guys ready for this?
Hit me.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm only vaguely aware of what we're about to do.
My
You just have
understanding is
to
it's a trivia
answer-
question.
Yes, and just have to answer before Maxwell
Okay.
and deal with the way I worded these because I worded them in like a trivia game show way. Not so much the first one. Some of these are also I just kind of gave up and just was pretty straight and narrow. Bombs these days are being dropped on nuclear sites, but this rebel dropped bombs in the opening scene of The Last Jedi. Who is she?
Poe Dameron,
No, Rose's
Oh.
sister.
Paige,
Yeah,
Tico.
Paige.
Am I allowed
Yes,
to answer twice?
one
Max
for
did too.
Luke. No, one for Luke Taylor. I just had a blast with writing these. That was the funniest
Date in
one
our
in my mind.
episode. Hopefully.
Yep.
Hopefully this doesn't keep
Yeah,
happening.
hopefully, yeah. In Rebels, during the World Between Worlds sequence, which line from the Clone Wars is heard echoing throughout the dimension?
What line from the prequels?
Which
Was
line,
it a-
line
line-
from the Clone Wars?
the
I
Clone
believe
Wars.
the animated show.
Oh, there was a line from the Clone Wars.
It's echoing throughout in Rebels.
What was? I have no idea. I'm
Trying to
guessing
think.
it has something to do with Mortis, just because it's like weird Force stuff.
Trying to think of a really iconic Clone Wars quote that they can't. Like, I feel like I remember them talking about luminous beings and the Force surrounds us and penetrates us. Maybe I'm just imposing that on all of the Star Wars edits that I've seen over the last 20 years that use those lines.
I mean, when they go into the world
I don't
between
know.
worlds, they rescue Ahsoka from her battle with Darth Vader. So I'm guessing it has something to do
They
with
do.
Ahsoka.
It does indeed. You throw in the towel
Yeah, what is
with
it?
the white flag. Just when you think you understand the Force, you find out how little you actually know.
That's a line to Ahsoka.
I think it's from a line from Ahsoka.
I thought that was a line from Rebels, though.
I think it is.
Re-
in
I think
Rebels.
it's.
But is it
Ahsoka
from
says that
Clone
to
Wars?
Kanan and Ezra.
Either way, it's in the
it might
world
be from
between
Clone
worlds.
Wars.
There's too much content.
Either
Fact check me.
Rebels or
Either way,
Clone
no one
Wars.
gets the point anyway. Maybe I'll get the I'll get a negative point for that myself. Number 3. This Italian actor turned down the role of Han Solo. Sorry, I put Italian yeller, but I was like, I mean, he does yell a lot in his movies, but it was also parodied by Bill Hader in the SNL sketch.
Robert De Niro.
Oh, so close, Luke Taylor. Who's
Al
the other
Pacino?
Italian?
Yeah, the
Oh,
other
one
guy.
for Max Taylor. The other guy. I was going to mention some sort of
Not
Godfather
Robert.
thing in the intro. Not Robert De Niro.
Al Pacino was offered the role.
I believe so. Yeah, he was offered the role because also George Lucas is friends with Francis Ford Coppola, who made The Godfather,
Yeah,
and
that
then they were
makes sense.
through, that connection.
That's crazy.
Speaking of dating the episode, 50 years ago, the movie Jaws swam into theaters and our minds alike. The main antagonist of Jaws, besides the mayor, is of course the Bruce the shark. Sharks share the ocean with another large marine mammal who resembles this space creature featured in Ahsoka and Rebels.
Space whales? Purgle?
Yes, one for Max Taylor.
Oh,
I was just trying so hard to follow the line of that questioning. I feel like that
I
question
know.
jumped to so many different areas.
I love wording questions like this just to be so confusing. All right. In a turn of events, practical effects are now becoming more expensive than CGI, which could put this original claymation designer who worked on the original trilogy out of work.
What's his
Bill Tippett.
Yes, Luke
name?
Taylor.
Nice.
Tied 2-2.
His storyline was
I
the
love
best
Phil
part of the
Tippett.
documentary for Light and Magic.
Oh, I know, but
Highly worth
then
a
you also
watch.
get John Dykstra though, which is great when he's just
Yeah.
he gets shafted out of the other two,
Yeah,
and then
he's
also Dennis
screwed.
Muren.
And then they
That-
still use
that
his
movie,
technology in the following movies.
I know. It's the documentary is so good. I have not watched part 2. Well, actually, that might be a good episode to
There's a part 2?
record. Yeah.
They just came out with it recently, actually. I haven't seen
Yeah.
it either. I think it's only like
I don't think
2
it's-
episodes or 3 episodes or something. It's shorter.
Yeah, I don't think it's a Star Wars focused either, but I don't know. Maybe it is. I feel like it should be, but we'll see. Maybe we should watch it anyway. All right, pawn shops are a scummy place where dreams might go to die, which is exactly where Luthen starts to meet his fate, kind of. Can you name 2 artifacts from the Star Wars lore that appear in Luthen's gallery?
There's a
Plo Koon's mask and a Gungan skull.
no.
Yep.
Don't say Plo Koon's
Okay,
mask.
Taylor.
We don't know it's Plo
Keldor
Koon's. It
mask.
wouldn't
Ah,
be
yes.
Plo
Keldor
Koon's.
mask.
And a
I'll still take
Gungan
it.
shield. And what was the other one that you said?
Gungan skull, he said.
Oh, there's a Gungan skull too. I guess that makes sense.
There
It's right next to the
is.
shield.
Brutal.
There's also
People were saying that that's so dark that they had a Gungan skull because they're sentient, and that's true. But like, human skulls are places, aren't they?
Yeah, you've been to a science center? I mean, there's weird freaks who collect like human skulls and stuff too.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I wouldn't, but
No,
you can.
Not me. I like that other people have the option to.
Yeah.
I'm
Blue
more into the
milk.
skin.
So, yeah, very Buffalo Bill of you. Your favorite movie is Silence of the Lambs, right? Blue milk is a popular drink and refreshing drink. No, blue milk is popular, but this refreshing drink is your co-host's favorite drink in Batu.
Blue milk?
Green milk.
Yes, Luke Taylor.
We just talked about this. I'm so confused.
It's my favorite. It's
I thought we were talking
my
about
favorite.
SVZS again.
It's
SCZS.
Double BDP?
It's the
Yeah.
worst acronym that could ever exist. SCZS.
Oh, that's so confusing. All right. Cyril Karn, not to be confused with Cereal Karn, does indeed like to eat this breakfast food. It is rumored, though, that the cereal he is eating in Andor is actually what limited edition cereal from Trix.
From
A
Trix.
limited edition cereal from Trix.
Yes, it is in a movie IP that had a special edition cereal with Trix, and they took out the blue/purple morsels out of the rainbow colors.
French nuts.
I've never heard of that movie.
Is it close?
No.
thought
I mean,
the
just based on
cereal
the
was
color, you
something
said I want to say
nuts.
like Barney or something.
Close.
You said it was
me
blue
know
and
what you
purple
guys-
or the color scheme?
Blue and purple are the color scheme in Andor, but there's also a bunch of
Yeah,
other.
that's the cereal that Cyril eats.
Yes, and I'll give you a hint: is that the color, which is kind of messed up, the color is the blue of this character is the skin, and the purple is the hair. So these characters are all 2 colors. Body is one
Avatar?
color.
It's Avatar
No.
themed cereal? No.
It's not. There's other colors as well that they just took out for Andor. Presumably, this is the
A
room.
blue character with purple hair.
Yes, they're very small.
A
Old
Smurf?
people used
Is
to.
it a Smurf?
Ooh, very close. Very, very close.
Trolls?
Trolls, Maxwell. Specifically, Trolls World Tour.
I have
used
heard
But
this
yes.
about the
special
cereal.
edition Trolls World Tour cereal, but removed
All the other
specific
colors. Yes, there's like
That
6
is
colors.
wild.
That is such a good way to make space cereal because you're not going to manufacture your own cereal, you know?
Yes,
You got to
yeah.
do something like that.
It's a limited edition, like 2019 cereal. That supposedly that's what it is.
Wow. That's fascinating.
All right. Before I start this question, no, this is not referencing Slipknot's song "The Heretic Anthem" off their acclaimed Iowa album. Sorry, Max is trying to calculate this already. 666 is the number of the beast. Yes, we know this is true. But in Star Wars, what does 555 reference?
The lower level of
CT
Coruscant?
5555?
So, Luke, what did you say? I don't think you.
I said CT 5555 fives.
5s from the Clone
No.
Wars? I said the lower
No.
levels of Coruscant.
No. Oh, this is come on. You guys got this.
May 5th, 2005 when
No.
Revenge of the Sith came out.
No.
I think it was May 25th.
555 in Star Wars?
Yep.
Is it a stormtrooper number? TK555? Is that the guy who hits his head on the door?
No.
I give up.
It is Andor's prison table,
Oh, your
his
audio cut
unit.
out.
Oh no. You can hear me still? Max,
Yeah,
can you
I
hear me?
can now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. I didn't do anything different. It is Andor's prison table, his unit, and his level on Narkina 5.
Yeah.
I was not even thinking about any of like the TV shows or anything. For some reason, my mind was only with the original trilogy.
All right, so now we have Max 4, LT 3. Luke, you're pretty close, and we have 17 questions left. No, we have 3 questions remaining. Are you Googling this, Luke? I don't think you
Yeah, that doesn't sound right. I imagine you just Googled it.
No, I didn't Google it right now.
Yeah,
Number...
No, 5-2D. Level 5, what's 2? D is for day shift. I gotta find that exact quote.
Okay, we got dead air.
Level
5.
5, Unit 2. D is for day shift.
Level
Oh,
5,
shit.
Unit 2.
I had Unit 5. Well, no one got it anyway. So good thing both questions that no one got right, I also got wrong.
So it's 4
Next
to 3
question.
to -2.
But I swear these next ones are spot on. Logos on Bot 2 use this phrase to greet guests during the day.
Right, sons.
Yes, Maxwell. 5 to 3, Luke. All right, Luke, you got to get
That's a great
these two.
in-universe thing that they added there.
It is. We should really slice this into the last episode. Or the... Yeah,
But
the-
multiple
yeah,
things come up that we could have talked about.
We all know Ray is my dad's and youngest brother's middle name, not mine. But it's also the name of a major Star Wars character.
Ray
What
Park,
is this
Darth
said
Maul.
What is said character's first speaking line? Force Awakens. I'll take 2 answers.
From The Force Awakens?
Yeah.
Damn it. Is not Ray Park? Is it not Ray Stevenson? There's 2 Rays. It's not. There's a third Ray
Yeah.
from The
I
Force
don't think
Awakens.
that's the question.
I don't think you're the question
What's
either.
Ray's first line in The Force Awakens?
Yes, that is the question.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
You're like, Ray Park, it has to be Ray Park.
I thought the answer was gonna be Ray Park. I was jumping on it.
There's 2
Ray's
acceptable
first
answers.
line. It would've
Specifically
been-
English speaking line. I'll
Is it Oi?
It's close though. That's close.
Is
Is
it?
it-
It's
is
the
it
first
just-
thing that she would have said to Unkar Plutt, right?
No, she doesn't say anything to Unkar Plutt in the first scene. Which is
This is
No,
what she says to
genius.
says
Tito, and when she saves
It-
BB-8.
It is.
And the first thing she says is Oi.
It's not.
So it's not that conversation with Tito and BB-8?
Well, okay, so she does speak a different language, but there's I feel like you're also Googling this now.
I'm not.
No,
I'm
not
cracking
to
my
find
knuckles.
not to find it, just to prove that I'm wrong, because I'm pretty sure it's these 2 lines. But now we should fact check after the episode when it's already done.
I'm going.
She does-
If
I still
you're
have
showing
no
a lack
idea
of
what this has to
confidence
do
here,
with
I'm going
Ray
with
Park.
Oi. Final answer.
Well, she does speak a different language, but Max, you got anything?
No mods.
No, I'm going
Basically,
with Ray
yeah.
Park.
She says shh to BB-8. Then she also says, "That's just Tito. He just wants you for parts." Is her first line in English. Her first English line.
I'm confident
right.
that my answer was more correct. When she sees BB-8 getting taken, she yells "Oi" and goes over and saves him.
I think you are right. We'll fact check after this when we got a force for thought. I'll fact check when we have a force for thought, and we'll see see if it matters anyway. Because right now it's 5 to 3, Max in the lead. In A New Hope, cell block 1138 is referencing what?
EHX 1138.
Yep, Luke
George
Taylor
Lucas's first
for boom. Thank you. All right, 4 to 5. Max, you are in the lead. Luke, you need to get this one correct to tie it, and then we need to figure out the Oi situation, which might be the tiebreaker itself, because I don't have another question. Which Star Wars film is the only Star Wars film not to be distributed by 20th Century Fox, but rather distributed by Warner Brothers?
Rise of Skywalker?
Mm-mm. This movie was in theaters.
Oh,
They're
the
all
Clone
theaters?
Wars movie.
Yes, Maxwell,
Oh.
6-4.
I had to think about. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I didn't understand how that could have been possible. I thought it was a trick question at
I-
first. It kind of was. I got
I,
that.
All right,
yeah, I would
figured
say
it.
that
bit.
qualifies as a trick question.
Anyway,
All right. Well,
Plenty of
good. We don't have
trivia.
to figure out a tiebreaker situation, so that's always a plus.
Just like in all things in my life, then I can sleep soundly telling myself I'm right without actually having to check.
As a huge fan of AC/DC, I do think we should count the Oi, even though that counts against me.
I just saw AC/DC in concert. Oh, you know that actually. Yeah, you texted me about. Oh wait, no, you texted me about seeing Disturbed. Never mind.
Yes.
That was really funny. Checking my location and Googling what's going on at Brown Stadium. No, at Quicken Loans.
I almost texted
No,
you.
Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse.
I almost texted you the other day to tell your folks I says hi because I saw that you were there.
I sent you a picture as well.
I almost accidentally doxed you just now. I didn't.
What about my parents' address?
Mm-hmm. One of the few addresses I have memorized.
Do you really? That's nice.
I
I
probably
believe you.
will if you keep going there. I track you too.
I don't go anywhere except tomorrow. I will be at the Grog Shop. This
Oh, for
episode will be
who?
Kyle Mooney. I'm gonna go see. He's doing the Real Me Fake Me tour. So the Real Me is like he has like this really bad on purpose music that he's gonna be playing, and then the Fake Me is the part he's doing. He's never even smoked a cigarette character. So he's doing like stand up as that character from SNL. So I'm very excited. And that won't matter because this will be released weeks from now. Anyway, does everybody any force for thought? Because somehow we are also kind of going along on this episode that we were like, this will be short.
Yeah, I have one. The last couple weeks, I've been talking about that scene from Rogue One where they blow up Jeddah.
Wow.
I have one more. This is my last one.
The scene
But-
really is conducive to force for thoughts.
The trilogy.
They destroy Jeddah, and Tarkin and Krennic are watching from the Death Star, and Krennic has that line, "Oh, it's beautiful." And we know that this is the first time the Death Star has been used. Single chamber ignition, so it's not planet killing, and Alderaan is still the first time it's used with a capital U, so to speak. But this is their first test subject that the Death Star fires upon. And they, as we discussed several weeks ago, they moved the Death Star a little close to Jeddah to generate the fear of eclipsing the sun, and then they blow it up, and then there's this really cool shot of the destruction on Jeddah, and it pans up, and the mushroom cloud goes high up into space, and then it keeps panning up a little bit, and then the Death Star's right there. But in universe, that means that the Death Star blew up Jeddah, and then the explosion got pretty close to hitting them. There had to have been some people sweating on that space station, thinking that they positioned themselves too closely for this kind of explosion, and they're going to get exploded too, or at least affected by the debris. It gets really close.
It was probably Krennic if he was the one who put them in position just for the aesthetic of it, and then the explosion
Yeah,
starts to get
thinking about
up
it.
more and more, and he's like, "Oh boy, did I get too close to this?" That's interesting. Is this
That
your
makes so
last
much
force for
sense.
thought from this scene? Because we've also never yet talked about like how slowly that wave comes when they blow up the planet. I don't know why. It always bothers me during that scene when when K2 says there's a problem on the horizon, and then he says there is no horizon. I'm like, that is not the time to be making jokes right now. Like, this planet is being blown up in front of your eyes, and you're just like, I'm going to make a quick comment. And it's like, no, you need to get out of there. But every time I hear that joke, I'm always like, well, it's a good thing that wave of planet is moving so slowly that he has time to make this joke, and everyone has time to get out of Saw's lair and evacuate and all that stuff. And I'm like, I don't know what the physics are behind a planet being blown up, but I'm just like, surely that would be moving quicker or something, right? My only frame of reference is how quickly the Death Star blows up in A New Hope, and that's pretty instantaneous. Or how
The only
Alderaan
reference
blows up.
I'm thinking more about waves and the way they propagate in the real world, which not the real world, but I take it as absolute scientific fact. The movie Interstellar, when they land on that one planet and they think there's mountains in the back, but then it gets closer and there's waves. Those were moving pretty slow, and I have to believe that that movie is scientifically accurate. So I think waves go that slowly.
So
I'm okay with it.
did you know, Luke, in that scene there was a ticking sound?
I've heard that.
You know where this is going. That's
So
it. I
I'm
wasn't
okay
going to
with that.
finish it.
Sorry,
I wasn't
we
gonna-
all-
that's
Thank
an
you
inside
for-
baseball joke.
Thank you for wrapping up, probably,
Mm-hmm.
Force for Thoughts on that 1 minute sequence for Rogue One.
Join us next week
I
when we're
can't
talking
imagine
about
we'll have more to say about it.
the next 4 minutes. Anyway, anybody want to sign us out? Does anybody have anything else to say? I'm glad we also did this just kind of a bullshit episode where there was a, we turned out about. After this episode, I'm gonna go have a death stick. I try to
Way to
wrap
bring
it
it
back.
back
Only
to
if that
Obi-Wan's
means a
death
cigarette.
sticks. If this is a bullshit episode, so I want to bring this up because it's not really a Force for Thought. It's not really Star Wars related, but I want to talk about it at some point because it just pissed me off. I've been playing a lot of Halo lately, and Halo came out like 24 years ago, and so it's only 24 years old, and yet there's still a community where they're like, oh, Halo's not as good as it used to be, and old 'cause good, new 'cause bad, which I am more in the good 'cause old camp for Halo than I am in Star Wars, but it's like that with like all fandoms after a certain point. Just like people yearn for the feelings they had when they were 10 experiencing this stuff for the first time, and the new stuff never lives up to the old stuff, and
Yeah.
old fans always get cranky. And then there's Nintendo that's just been sitting around releasing the same fucking game every 5 years for
That's
40
true.
years, and everyone loves it every single time. Are their fans just more chill? Are those games actually of an acceptable quality and new and sufficiently better enough to keep them interested every single time? It's unbelievable that they can do it, but
Yeah.
like Halo has done it also, where they release successful games every 5 years, but people get pissy about it. I mean, the new Mario Kart World came out, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's so good!" It's the exact same as every other Mario Kart, and they just eat it right up.
It's not the
I
exact
don't
same
get it.
because it's not Double Dash, and Double Dash is the best Mario Kart. But I agree with you, specifically about Nintendo, because I recall probably around the same time being a kid when I think it was Paper Mario came out. I believe that was the one on the GameCube, and I had friends that loved Paper Mario. And my one friend, I would go over his house, and he would want to play it. But it's like a one-player game, so we would just take turns playing Paper Mario. And I'm just like, no, I don't want to play Paper Mario. I mean, I was probably like in grade school, but in my head, I was just like, this is like for little kids. Like, what are you doing? No, I don't want to play this game. But I do want to throw up now that I realize that Halo is 24 years old. That's pretty disgusting.
Yeah.
The
I feel
game
like-
that defined my childhood is now old enough to rent a car.
Yeah, I don't like the way you put that at all, actually. We
But
needed
it's not just Mario
something-
Kart, you know. It's Zelda and Super Mario, whatever the new one is, Galaxy 3 or Super Mario World or Odyssey. Like they're all consistently very well received. And I just want once for a Star Wars or a Halo, or trying to think of other IPs that fall into that same category of releasing stuff consistently for over 20 years.
Mhm.
I'm having a hard time.
You
but-
can look at, I was gonna say Call of Duty, which has, I'd say, done
Yeah,
the same
Call of Duty's
thing
in that same boat.
as Mario, though, in the fact that it doesn't really change. It's kind of the same bullshit. But it did get worse, and that
Yeah,
does
it
not
got
have the
worse.
same. Oh, Madden, that's a great one too. Same football game every
Yeah.
single year.
But that's
Every
that's
Madden-
different though, because that's exactly
it?
what they want, is the exact same thing with just updated players and teams and all that stuff.
But even then, you can still update the roster if you have Xbox Live or something, for example, or PS whatever bullshit. You can still update the roster from the old game. You don't need to keep. You can play with Joe Flacco if you wanted to, or you could
Are-
trade people themselves.
do Madden fans say that Madden, whatever, 25 is worse than Madden 10?
It
Is that
depends, I think, on which game it is. Like some games clearly have worse graphics or whatever. They don't update. They
really?
just start to drag. Yeah, because there's like something where like they didn't update the new engine or whatever. So like just say I don't know exactly. I'm not that ingrained in it. I just like to play. Lynn and I play once in a while. When
Yeah.
football season's going on and there's like a bye week. But like I feel like it's like, oh, they're clearly running on the old engine on 20, but 21 is the upgraded it, and so there's like a significant difference. But they'll keep that same engine and the same look for 5 years. And it's just like updated stuff. Also, I was gonna say, Halo came out November 2001, so we really needed something to take our minds off of 9/11. So that was it. Thanks, Halo.
I do want to issue a slight correction, though. It was Super Mario Sunshine. I looked it up. That was the game that I was thinking of. Although Paper Mario is also a thing, and looking at that also looks weird too. Never played any of these. Just it's a gut thing.
They're both super well received. Every Super Mario was,
People love
Sunshine
'em.
was on the GameCube, and then Galaxy was on the Wii, and everyone loved that. And then Odyssey on the Switch, everyone loved. And it's like, the differences are so small. And if any other IP releases such consistently the same product for so long, everyone would be furious. Yet Nintendo
Yeah.
just crushes it.
It's true. Anyway,
Sorry, thank you for indulging me.
no,
Star
that
Wars
was great.
Star Wars fans are not as chill as Nintendo fans is my way to bring it back. Maybe they need some death sticks to chill out. Yeah. Bring it
Hey,
back to
there we
Obi-Wan
go.
Kenobi.
Anyway, thanks so much for listening. You can find us across social media and give us a listen on YouTube or Spotify. Max, is there anything else I'm missing? You always do the sign off.
No, but I feel like I
think
got to
that's
say
it.
something so that I can lead you into your part. So let us know what
Yeah,
you
please
think. Force for thought.
Sammy, see you.
Oh, I hated that.
See you, Sammy.